Oh, welcome back, Commander. Going from a tedious, no construction mission to one with a little bit more flavor to it. We finally get the return of Tanya, our badass bitch, I guess. Whatever. I'll just bleep myself out on that one. Our bona fide badass is basically just gonna tear up the place, as you would expect from somebody like Tanya. This mission can kind of be played in several different ways. In the sense that you need to keep Tanya alive, but you're given enough stuff that you can kind of play without her. You know, thinking back on it, I wonder if it's possible to lift up the Chinook before it gets blown to pieces by the MiGs. I know there's an issue with being able to select the unit while it's still flying. Basically that you can't. But it does touch down for but a moment. It probably isn't long enough though. But a man can dream. This is another mission where it's problematic to scout ahead. If you don't do it right, or if you just happen to be unlucky, you have a helicopter that just shows up at the worst time, where there's a flamethrower guy and he just murders everything. Another particularly annoying, well, foe that you'll encounter is the multiple hinds. You don't really have an effective way of taking them out. You get a few rocket soldiers, and I mean, honestly, I probably lost all of the ones that would have been really nice to have in, you know, the whole helicopter destruction thing. Twice. Thankfully, the AI won't rebuild Hinds. Not to my knowledge anyways, so as long as you can destroy them, you're free of that terror of the skies.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I say this because Tanya may have died once or twice to Hinds, just constantly being a pester.
Very well.
Or constantly pestering her. Whatever.
Yes, sir. Awaiting orders.
I don't know why this song sounds like almost distinctively like a GoldenEye song.
Awaiting orders. Knowledge.
Like, it sounds kind of like Library and something along those lines.
Shake it, baby. Report him.
If it's not obvious, the various islands all offer something different. Some things are similar, but they're different in the way that they're presented. The first island had a lot of explosives, and your units were relatively close to your only drop-off point, or the only beachhead, or whatever you want to call them. On the lower middle, you had a lot more explosive barrels, and the game kind of gave you an out with the Chinook.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Knowledge.
You also don't get purely combat units, you actually get engineers, and it's kind of a challenge to figure out how you're going to use them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
On the middle-ish island,
Yes, sir. Agreed.
at least the one to the top left on right now, gives you, again, allied units, but they're not quite as close to the beachheads, and at the same time, there's not really much in the way of explosive barrels.
Ready and waiting. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yeah? Ready and very well.
This island gives you a lot to work with if you manage to not lose them all to dogs right away or anything. A spy can come in handy, although we've already seen the sort of issues that creep up whenever you scout an area before you're probably supposed to. Another problem that I overlooked when it came to the Chinook is that there are some units that just can't be selected, regardless of what you do. And the Chinooks probably would be that case, regardless. Oh, and that was rather convenient. You know, a rocket somehow exploding in the air, revealing a submarine. Whatever.
On my way. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
That's kind of how I want to dispose of my spy. If I'm not going to bother having him scout new areas, mainly because I don't want to lose any reinforcements willy-nilly, you might as well put him to good use and have him capture or take crates from the map. Like a full heal that I just grabbed. If it seems a little paranoid that I'm saving a lot, trust me, a mission like this, where you're not building very much, it's kind of useful. The main problem being the whole water portion. It's not that naval or water stuff is bad, it's just it takes an amount of time to load and unload and transport stuff. Which, in a way, just feels a little bit more tedious than it needs to be. That being said, it's not like it's something that you could just like easily balance or something. So I don't really worry about it too much. Oh, and for some reason I had to transport trigger and deposit some guys on another island. It's a little annoying because I was really hoping not to reveal a new map, or a new island. As always, even though a base might look safe, it's good to be vigilant in case any dogs happen to spawn or flamethrower guys come out of a barracks. You know, the unexpected surprises. Admittedly, I was probably being a little overzealous with my complete destruction of everything on the map, but maybe a little bit of extra frustration took over. In part, I was trying to see if there were any other triggers or anything that might give me more units. There's not much else left on the map. So we kind of have to figure out one, where this last tech center is and how we're going to destroy it.
Affirmative. Very well. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Reporting. No. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Oh, and the game is nice enough to give you some extra naval units if you happen to lose some.
Acknowledge.
I believe it's 2 freebies?
Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Awaiting acknowledge.
And that's certainly not a pleasant wake-up call.
Affirmative. Reporting. Awaiting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Reporting. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Yeah? I'm there. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Awaiting orders. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Reporting. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Reporting. Affirmative. Waiting order. Yes, sir. Waiting. Affirmative.
It seems to be 3 instead.
Vehicle reporting. Affirmative.
Now, you might think, maybe I'll just try to attack this whole thing from the front and whatnot. Nah, it's not a really good idea.
Yes, sir. On my way. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. What's that? Commander, on my way. Yes, sir.
Your best bet is to actually just like carve a path from the outside, go through the wall, explode a couple power plants, and next thing you know, you have relatively free access to the base.
Yeah, I'm there. What's up? Let's rock. Let's rock. I'm there. I'm there. I'm there.
A tank might put a little damper on our little incursion here, but thankfully I don't believe Tanya has to actually survive. Or at least, once you destroy all the tech centers, kind of succeeded.
Mission accomplished.